Namaskar. In our Sanatana Dharma, Bhakti or devotion is a major pillar in order to attain the ultimate Purushartha of Moksha. Among the different Bhakti Paramparas that we have in Bharatavarsha, there are 6 main traditions or Paramparas which have a major following. These are the Paramparas of Shaiva, Vaishnava, Shakta, Ganapatya, Shaura, and the last one is that of Muruga, Kumara, called Kaumara. Many times when you think of this tradition of Kaumaram, you find that Kumara is a unifying force of all the other Paramparas, because he is praised and glorified as the son of Shiva, thus linking him with the Shaiva Siddhanta. Anaganpayaninnurulundiri puramudiri vendridayilgudan kadalundanagundira kondava pudalvone Muruga. He is glorified as the son of Shakti, of Parvati, and the nephew of Vishnu. Aravane nisayudil dadagari nediyava marugalavarum adishaya udayava amali vimali parai umayavalaruliya Murugone. And the younger brother of Vinayaka. Tedum gayama mugane cheruvil thus linking him to all the different paramparas, all the other siddhantas. When did Kumara take birth? What was the reason for the Kumara Sambhavam? He came as the supreme Guru, the supreme Jnana Upadeshika, to take us across this samsara sagaram, to remove our tapatrayam, the 3 kinds of troubles that we go through in the form of Adi Bhautika, that is from all the other beings around us, all the creatures around us, Adi Daivika, because of our own destiny, and Adhyatmika, because of our own mental states and our own qualities, we go through troubles. So to remove this tapatraya, he came on this earth, which is very symbolically represented in the Kanda Puranam and the Kumara Sambhavam as Kumara taking birth to kill the 3 asuras, Taraka, Simhamukha and Shurapadma. These 3 asuras represent the Tapatrayam that we have. And Muruga or Kumara, he comes to uproot these Tapatrayams. Dikshidhar in his Kriti says, Taraka Simhamukha Surapadma Sura Samharate Tabataya Haranani Punam He is the one who removes the Tapatrayam, Tattvopadeshakartare, and Ajnana Dvanta Savitre, the one who removes the ignorance. All the ignorance, the darkness of ignorance is removed, and the light of knowledge is given to us. Isn't this the function, the duty of the Guru? Hence he comes here as Guru Guha, Guru Para. He comes as the very form of that supreme being in the form of a Guru. That is why towards the end, Kudaginada says, Uruvai, Aruvai, Udadai, Iladai, Maruvai, Maradai, Madiyai, Udiyai, Karuvai, Uirai, Gadiyai, Vidiyai, Guvai, Maruvai, Aruvai, Udane. O Lord, please come as the Guru and protect me. Muruga is a very unique combination of beauty and knowledge. So when you think about knowledge or jnanam, you typically think about the tapasvis, the sannyasis who are sitting with matted hair and long beards, very emaciated bodies somewhere deep in the Himalayas or in some caves. But Muruga is very much in the world, is the most beautiful form that you can ever think of. At the same time, he is the very form of knowledge. It's a unique combination of beauty and knowledge. In fact, the term Murugu in Tamil itself means Alagu, beauty. Muruganil marupayar alagu, Muruganil marupayar alagu, anda muruganil mayagadu ulagu. With this Kumara Sambhavam, the story of the Kumara Sambhavam, all of you know. Parameshwara, who is the father of the universe, Jagatah Pitaro Vande Parvati Parameshwara, in order to put an end to these asuras, he generates the Jnanagni from himself. The fire of knowledge is generated from himself, and he gives this Jnanagni to be created or to be given to the earth, where this Jnanagni will become in the form of a divine child. But the Bhumi is not capable of handling the Tapo-Shakti of Parameshwara. Hence, this Jnanagni is first carried by Vayu and Agni, the Devas. Vayu and Agni, they carry this first and they pass it on to the Ganges, Ganga. Ganga, she carries on this Jnanagni and then releases it into the Prithvi, onto the earth. So through this process, there is a gradual modification or gradual change, and slowly the Jnanagni is released onto the earth. Shiva represents the ultimate Jnanam, and when that comes in contact with Prakriti, it's a Shakti, the generation of Kumara, the generation of Muruga happens. So that is why when the Jnanagni gets released onto the earth, the Jnanagni develops into 6 babies. And these 6 babies are mothered by the 6 Kritika Nakshatrams. And at that point, when Parvati comes and embraces the 6 babies, the 6 babies merge into one child with 6 faces. This is the story of the Kumara Sambhavam. Parameshwara symbolizes supreme Jnanam, the supreme being, Brahman. Without any contact with Prakriti, the Jnanagni is generated. Muruga, Kumara, represents the Jnanagni of Parameshwara. He is the knowledge aspect of Parameshwara. But that Jnanam, Parameshwara is Mauna Murti. As Dakshinamurti, as the Guru, Supreme Guru, he is in Maunam always. If the Guru is in Maunam, how will the Shishya get the knowledge? Hence, to convert or to translate that Maunam to the benefit of the world, of the universe, this Jnanagni came forth from Parameshwara. It was carried by the Panchabhutas, the Akasha to the Akasha Marga, by Agni and Vayu into Jala, which is Ganga, and on to Prithvi. through the Panchabhuta Sparsha, the Agni becomes into Kumara, into the 6 babies. It is also because of these aspects that he is known by different names. Because he was carried by Agni, he is called as Agni Sambhava. Because he was carried by the Ganges, he is called as Gangeya. Kartikeya Gangeya Gauritanaya. And because the Kritika mothers fed him milk, he is called as Kartikeya. And when Parvati comes and embraces, he becomes one child with 6 faces, Shanmukha. The place where Ganga Devi released the Jnanagni, the Prithvi, the earth where she released it, it was a forest of reeds, thicket, a forest of reeds. That is why it is called as Sharavana. Sharam is the reed, Vana means forest. So it was a forest of reeds, and because he was born in that forest of reeds, he is called as Sharavana Bhava. This is the other name of Muruga. So this Jnanagni from Parameshwara, when it came into contact with the Panchabhutas and it came into the Sparsham of Prithvi, it got transformed into Muruga, who was not just a Maunamurti, but he became a Guru for the universe, who can take them through the Samsara Sagara and make them reach the ultimate state of liberation. That is why Dikshita Kriti Srinatadi Guru Jayati says, Maya Shabalita Brahmarupa, Maya Shabalita Brahmarupa. Parvati represents Maya, Prakriti, and Shiva represents Brahma. He is Maya Shabalita Brahmarupa. Means Brahman mixed with Maya comes in the form of Guru, who then takes the sadhaka through this Maya towards Brahma. That is the beauty of the Guru. Now these 6 heads of Kumara, because it's called a Shanmukha, has got a very important significance. The 6 heads represent the 5 heads of Shiva. Shiva is called as Panchavaktra. Sadyojata Dipanchavakraja. Tyagaraja Swami says that the swaras, the Vikruti swaras, Rigama Dhani, have come from the 5 faces of Shiva. So the 5 faces of Shiva is called as Panchavaktra, Panchasya, and the 1 face of Shakti. So the 5 faces of Shiva plus the 1 face of Shakti becomes the 6 faces of Muruga. So Muruga represents the Shiva Shakti Samagamam with the predominance of the Brahma Tattva of Shiva. The predominance of Brahma Tattva, but Maya Shabalita Brahma Rupa. Generally in Tantra and Yantra aspect, Shiva is represented with the upward triangle, upward looking triangle, a normal triangle. Shakti is represented as a downward looking triangle. So, when you represent Shiva Shakti Samagama, when you put these 2 triangles together, it comes in the form of a Shatkonam, a 6-cornered, a 6-angled diagram. We cannot call it a hexagon, it is not a hexagon, it is a star-shaped Shatkonam which has got 6 corners. The Shatkonam is the Subramanya Yantra. This is the Yantra for Subramanya, for Muruga, because it represents the Samagama of Shiva and Shakti. And each of the corners represent each face of Muruga. And the mantra, the Mula mantra of Muruga is Sharavana Bhava. Each of these corners represent each of those alphabets. Sharavana Bhava. The Sharavana Bhava mantra has been spoken about by innumerable sages and saints. The greatness of this mantra. In fact, Arunagirinathan, in one of his Tiruppuvars, he beautifully says, Sharavana Bhavani Deyaruga Guru Bara Sharavana Bhavani Deyaruga Guru Bara Sharavana Bhavani Deyaruga Guru Bara Yamago Dev. Yes, all the bhaktas constantly keep chanting, O Lord, your Mula Mantra, Sharavana Bhava, Sharavana Bhava, Sharavana Bhava. The Rakaram is always something that generates Agni. The Rakaram is there in Sharavana Bhava, like the Rama Mantra. Rakaram, Bhava, the Bha, the force that we give it Bhava. This mantra helps in the rise of the Kundalini right from the Mooladhara Chakra till the Sahasrara. Each of those Aksharas represent or take you from one chakra to the other. There are 6 chakras and the 7th one being the Sahasrara. So they take you through the 6 chakras until the Ajna chakra, and once the Sharavana Bhava, the Siddhi of the mantra happens, the Kundalini reaches the Sahasrara where Shiva Shakti Samagamam. In the Tantric sense, Sahasrara represents the Shiva Shakti Samagamam, which is nothing but Muruga himself. So the Siddhi of the Sharavana Bhava mantra happens when the Kundalini reaches the Sahasrara after passing through the 6 energy centers. Even the worship of the Shatkonam is mentioned in this Tiruppuvar. Adala vidala mudal vidu 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 vena varumaini nidolir shadumayal naduram alagirudanamarum haragara shiva shiva sitting in the center of this Shatkona Yantra. So, extremely happy that I was able to share with all of you in this limited time whatever I could on the Tattvam, on the Subramanya Tattvam, on the Muruga Tattvam. It's very important for us to know what is behind what we hear, the stories and what we see of the different deities. So I hope I was able to share some